Right now, we have all kinds of technologies to help with hearing loss, from assistive devices to hearing aids. But how far off is an actual cure for hearing loss? Dr. Gnewikow talks about what the future may bring.
Some types of hearing loss there is. We had talked previously about problems in the middle ear with children with fluid. That can be corrected. Sometimes you can have damage to the bones in the middle ear. That can be corrected, or a perforation, things that are mechanical. But the majority of hearing loss, that is serious hearing loss, is related to nerve damage. So in the normal ear, the sound wave traverses the ear canal, causes the eardrum to vibrate, which causes the middle ear bones to vibrate, and ultimately the vibration is picked up by the cochlea. The cochlea is a fancy name for the inner ear. And in the cochlea, there are tiny little nerve endings, and they have cilia, little hairs on them. And there are thousands throughout this coil. And for most individuals, the problem of permanent hearing loss is in the nerve endings themselves. Loud noise, heredity, toxic medications, age, all of those things can cause that. And so the cochlea, which is essentially a microphone, has got to be working in order to change the vibrations into electrical current that would go to the brain. So at this point in time, the cochlea, when the damage is there, you can't really fix it medically. Now, we use hearing aids on those people and they work pretty well. Occasionally, if a person is to the point that a hearing aid won't work, a cochlear implant can be done where surgically electrodes are placed into this general area, and you have a device on the outside like a hearing aid that picks up the signal but sends it through wires to the remnants of the auditory nerve. But as far as the future, research is being done on hair cell regeneration. So if there was a way to cause these little nerve endings to regrow,
wow,
then we might be able to put an end to deafness. And there's a lot of research in that area. It's been ongoing for a number of years. Progress is being made, but don't hold your breath. It's not going to be in the foreseeable future. Now, there are animals that can actually regenerate their hair cells. Sharks, for example,
wow,
can regenerate them. But we haven't gotten the genetic code quite right at this point for humans to be able to do that. So when we're told by an audiologist or by an ENT doctor, I'm sorry to say you have permanent hearing loss, which is what most people have. Of course, we always start grasping for straws and say, well, we're doing such great things in medicine, there must be a medical cure for this. But at this point, our only hope is probably getting the hair cells to regenerate at some point in time.
Is there a way that folks out there can help with any type of study or anything like that to see if this works? You know, is there testing on people that have already passed that you can check on people's ears?
Not really at that point, because this would be very, very invasive, and we would have to know the exact codes to do this, and they're doing it on animals just for ethical reasons. So we're not at a point where we could really put people into studies where we were trying to regenerate those little nerve endings. So the loss of those hair cells is very, very critical. And, you know, we lose them every day to some degree because of age. But there are a lot of other things that we can do something about when we're cranking up our chainsaw or we're shooting our high-powered rifle and we don't put earplugs in. Guess what's damaged? The hair cells. And sometimes the hair cells they don't regenerate, but if you stimulate them with a very high level of sound, it does some damage. But little by little, sometimes that damage can reverse itself over a period of several days. But if you continue to do it to the point that the hair cell is damaged permanently, it no longer reverses itself. You can't actually regenerate it. It's kind of like you fatigue it. If you're hitting something with a very loud sound over a long period of time, finally it just gets so tired it won't come back. So wearing hearing protection, things like that can be helpful. There are medications a lot of times that are used that can damage the hair cells as well, but most physicians would be aware of that. So I think you just need to exercise caution. So I guess in summary, I would say at this point in time, if you have nerve damage, your only option is really to use hearing aids, which work quite well, or if you've lost all of your hearing, to consider a cochlear implant. But perhaps in the next 100, 200 years, we'll be able to regenerate those hair cells, and maybe we'll see an end to deafness.
And to learn more about hearing loss, you can give Audiology Hearing Aid Associates a call. They have 2 area locations, one in Lynchburg, 434-528-4245. Also in Danville, 434-799-6288. And also more information can be found at digitalhearing4u.com.